Hello everybody, and welcome. I'm going to be going over Alatreon's equipment and his weapon and uses of sets. I have the full armor set, as well as the bow weapon. I'm not going to be going over the other builds right now. This is a complete bow set. So this is the old version. What, cat? Meow. Alatreon's bow is going to be mostly used in the part of silver Rathalos set, as it needs the critical element for it. Alatreon's bow is really good in the sense that it has very high elemental damage, as well as having decent attack damage. This definitely puts the Dragonbone bow to shame if you're like going for straight elemental output. It also puts it to shame, and it has way more attack than the Dragonbone bow. Now, I used to use the Dragonbone bow before some of the other new creatures came out, when it was just primarily silver Rathalos set. One thing that I didn't like about Silver Wrath was how frail it was. Definitely was not a beginner set. Anybody doing bow, it had high damage output. It had everything damage-wise going for it. It was a ginormous glass cannon, and anything that looked at you with ice or water, as you see that -15 and that -10 ice right there, it just disintegrates you. Now, this is a decent set. I wouldn't put Alatreon up. I'd put Alatreon up there for high tier for speedrunners that are looking for their speedruns with Pickle, as Dragon Element is the go-to for speedrunning Pickle, and that's what a lot of people upload. I definitely put this up there, but I wouldn't consider it the best for like casual users. I'd probably put this up there for anybody that is looking for speedrun builds, and the fact of it's not a beginner set. You definitely have to know what you're doing, or you're going to have your ass handed to with this set. I wouldn't consider this a very beginners friendly set. Now, this thing does do damage, as it hits pretty high, and I don't even think I'm critting, because I only have 40% crit until I have weakness on there. Then it goes up to 90. Now, without power coating, hits for 131s. With power coating, it should hit for 161s. As it hit for 161s. Now, this armor set, max crit eye, attack damage, almost max slinger capacity. So, your whole goal here is like, it's 1,000 dragons build. Got special ammo boost, got special ammo boost 2 with mantles. Max weakness, exploit max crit boost, windproof, max spread power shots, health boost 1, so you have a little bit of survivability. Bow charge plus, coalescence, the usual for speedrun stuff. Only thing I think some people would try to put on there is some stamina surge, but a lot of people, that kind of fixes it with some food categories and a potion that helps with stamina gen. Now, overall, just probably might be your go-to. I haven't tested it against Safi's set with the Kuftaroth bows to see what damage on par it is to. I might do that and then add it at the end of the video, but that's for Alatreon's bow weapon. This is probably what you'd be using it for. It's a really good bow, but leaves the user in a situation that we need stuff with more critical element. That's just not like glass cannon like Silver Rathalos is. Now, let's go to the armor set with Kuftaroth weapons. Now, the Alatreon armor is really good. It fares well with the Kajar Firebow, Ice Bow, and Dragon Bow. You can use Lightning because come to find out it scales with all your resistances, not just that element. So you can use all bows for it. So it just depends on what you want to use, but you're definitely going to be running Kajar. Oh, that's not the right set. Here we go. I was sitting there going, I was like, why don't I have that? One part about Alatreon's armor set is you're not going to use the third set piece bonus that much unless you're doing like a real tanky set for what I would probably assume is maybe an Elemental Lance build. If you're just going for damage with good resistance, you just want to run 2-piece, which we'll start off with the Decay Bow, which we'll be comparing it to the Alatreon Bow, and the fact of one thing about Alatreon Bow, it has a lot more coatings, so if you want the more utility of coatings, it has everything but poison. Now, look at this. So right now with wielding my weapon out, I have 830 element, 45% affinity, which is 95% affinity with weakness exploit. You have almost 11,000 defense, 35 fire resistance, 6 water, 6 thunder, so you won't like immediately die from water or thunder like you would with Silver Rathalos set. And you've got 32 ice resistance and 24 dragon. Now, fire and ice are some of the big ones that we have a lot of creatures of right now. There is Rajang with thunder, which, yeah, he fucking hurts. He's a pain in the ass, but I don't see myself fighting Rajang that much with a bow. When I normally fight Rajang, I normally use a gun lance because I don't normally like to fight with the bow. But that's just me. Water, Namiel's abilities can be really pretty strong. I don't think you'd get one shot with this build since you're not in the negatives like you are. But it definitely is pretty good for the Iceborne content, as Iceborne has a lot of ice creatures in it, and it's rocking pretty high in that ice-resistant category. Now, this has a lot of defensive utilities on it, as we have Max Dragon Attack 4 for the for that 5% affinity bonus. Defense boost 4 for the all elemental resistance. Then we have health boost 3, which is on the chest piece. Fire resistant max, ice resistant max, dragon resistant max. Then you have max weakness exploit, critical eye 2, crit boost 2, and then with mantle has crit boost 3. Special ammo boost 2, blight resistance, spread shot, power shots, which is 1 on the mantle, 1 on the build. Resentment is off of the chest piece, I do believe. Constitution, evade window, bow charge plus, and critical element. So overall, this is rocking a lot of defense, but also with that defense, it's rocking a lot of damage. So let's do this without mantle. So it's a little bit under, right now, a little bit under the silver wrath set. It's about 2 damage off per hit. $151, okay. So what we're going to now do is put on the mantle. We'll do both mantles because I can't remember which one has what on it. That puts it at 161. That puts it on the same level as Silver Wrath. The only difference with Silver Wrath is A1 you're going to be dealing with Stone Thrower, which in a lot of maps is very useful in the fact if you're running a Thousand Dragons build, the red pelts do a lot of damage. Normally when you have Stone Thrower maxed out with a Thousand Dragons build, it does, if you pick up one thing of red pelts, when you use Thousand Dragons, it does about 200 to 250-ish damage. Now you need to add that on top of this, that probably only will get maybe 90 to 80 damage off of red pelts. It can use sleep coating, which is pretty nice. It lets you ram things into the walls. Let's try the other mantle. Now one thing is that it's using a Safi set for this, which does make you a bit more vulnerable, but it's a bit of a trade-off for the resistances that you're getting. Did I just not crit there, or...? There we go. So it's about the same for each still. Now, overall, I'd consider this a pretty nice build in the fact that it gives a lot of defensive output as well as giving a lot of attack output. You're definitely not squishy. You should survive as long as you don't, keep putting your bow up, but most bow users don't normally put their weapon up unless it's, very situational. Now, the good part of this is it's good for all elements, so if you don't want to run Dragon, I was just using it as a comparison to the Alatreon bow. So we have, where is it? I have a nice setup, which the only bad part about this is it loses the, is it True Shot? So it does less damage with Thousand Dragons and Piercer, but the trade-off is it's still good in the fact of normal. A lot of people, casual players, don't use Thousand Dragons and Piercing Shot that much. And some pro people don't use it that much either. They may use Thousand Dragons in some situations, but it's not frequently used. So, Stream is still pretty good, Fire's good, Thunder's good, Water has the kind of same thing going for Stream and the fact that it loses a slot output. Now, my Kajar bows they're augmented. They're augmented with 1 extra slot and then elemental damage. That's how I run my Kajar bows. Now, the Alatreon, I just ran straight element with 1 defense on it. Now, you could go into element and a bit more affinity, which would give it a bit more consistency. That would probably be the best route. Now, I'm sure there's probably better builds, but this is what I kind of came up with on the fly and what I particularly liked. You can run thunder and water. I just have it set up. So let's look at the armor set. Alright. So, here is the stuff that we're going to do. I had to get the A set real quick. Now, if people are wondering how I got this out quicker, I've kind of learned how to play with game settings. The reason I've been gone is I've been working on the Minecraft server, which has taught me a little bit about playing with numbers, and with that I've kind of learned how to speed up processes on games. So, I've got both the alpha and beta set here. So, beta, you get 3 resentment, 1 critical eye, 3 resentment, 2 critical eye, and then for the beta, you have health boost 3 and resentment 1, alpha, health boost 3 and resentment 2, and where is it? Beta, you have attack boost 3, and then alpha, attack boost 3 with power prolonger 3. Just pretty nice, honestly. So it looks like you lose a tier 4 gem slot, but you gain a tier 1 gem slot. I think that kind of makes up for power prolonger. I like to say, I can't remember if power prolonger is a tier 1 or tier 2. I like to say power prolonger is a tier 1 gem. And we have the skirt, which attack boost 3, dragon resistance 3, which is really nice. It gives quite a bit for a beta set. Now, with this, you get attack boost 4, but it goes from a tier 4 gem slot to a tier 3 gem slot. Then you have the defense boost, dragon attack for the pants, which you're not going to run because most people are going to run the Wyrmbane's charm. And then eventually we're probably going to get that for level 6, eventually, probably. I hope. But a lot of people are probably going to run the beta version of Alatreon's pants. So, last thing is to do is... Yes, I can't do it that way. I'm going to show how it looked like, but I guess you have to go to the forge for that. Alright. Forge. We've got this. Now, you obviously can see where I've been playing with numbers, because I set everything to 0 for building here. So and since I'm wearing the pieces, it's not showing. Lovely. But this shows you the alpha set, which I like the chest piece compared to the beta version, but helmet, not so much. I like the gloves for the alpha. Skirt I'm about even on. So I guess I need to change sets real quick to make that go through. So be the best bet. We could just use this armor set. Forge. Armor. Now we should be able to look at the beta version. Which has got a pure black theme going on, which I like, but that just might be the emo side of me going through. I really like that. The only thing I'd probably change is probably put the, if I was just doing style, do the alpha chest piece. I like the alpha chest piece over the beta version. But for people that want to know what the set does, let's take a look at that. That's not what I wanted. That's Raging Bracky. There we go. So, quit weapon elements increase as your armor's elemental resistance increases. Which, that's giving a lot of the power for the set. And then you've got Safi on top of it. So it's giving you good defense while also giving you good outputs. And the way that they've done it is pretty nice. Now, I really want that to work. The 3-piece set ability to work. But it's just not giving enough, and there's no other really elemental defensive sets that come in a 2-piece. So, it's kind of dry. And you can only either go for output for the last 2 pieces. So, you have this weird situation of it's doing a little bit less damage, but you have a bit more resistance. But it's kind of awkward to build around after looking into it. So I just suggest running 2-piece Alatreon with Safi, and you get the elemental bonus and affinity from Safi 3-piece, and you get the resistance and damage output from the Alatreon set. Which gives this good mix of defensive and damage output. That's just how I would run it. I haven't looked into other builds. I might do some other builds with running Alatreon pieces. Because I really want 3-piece to work. But my guess would be I might have to do like a spear build. I don't know, I'd have to think about it a bit more. But I hope you all enjoyed the video. Until then, I'll see you all next time.